What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be reacting to a little bit more of your trade scenarios that you brought to my attention over the last couple of days and potentially a little bit over a week ago. Now, I know a lot of people are also saying that the Chicago Bulls should not be making any trades at the moment and that the team is ready to go, ready to battle into next season. And of course, I pretty much feel that that's probably going to be the case. I don't think this team's going to make any drastic changes heading into the start of the regular season, but we're in this period where it's time to get a little bit creative, maybe open our minds a little bit, just in case if there is a trade down the line that does happen for the Chicago Bulls, whether it's even a year down the line or anything like that, maybe someone on this channel commenting on these videos came up with that idea first, and I feel like that would be a very interesting time. I feel like some people have done this before, and obviously it can happen again as well, just to be a little bit creative. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you see any of these trades potentially going through one way or another. I guess the real question is, would you do some of these trades? Because as I mentioned before, I'm not sure if the Bulls are going to make any real heavy trades here. And maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. It's really up to you and your interpretation. But I don't think the Bulls are going to do anything major. But again, I do like reacting to some of our comments. It is a very interesting time. And I feel like it kind of gets a little bit more people involved in the channel as well. So feel free, once again, to let me know any suggestions that you may have for trade scenarios for the Chicago Bulls in the comments below. Whether it's majorly drastic, whether it's even a joke. I have a joke one in this as well. Or whether it's maybe a little bit more realistic, or maybe it's not a massive trade. Any sort of trade scenario that you might have, let me know in the comments below, because if there is enough of them, I can make a little bit more of these types of videos if you enjoy them. We're going to get started on a little bit more of a realistic one, or I guess it's one that was seen as realistic. It's a trade for Buddy Hield. Now, the person pretty much asked me whether or not this would actually be able to be possible to do. It was basically Kobe White and a first-round pick for Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield, in my opinion, is a player that the Chicago Bulls should probably be looking at in terms of the three-point line. At the end of the day, we need a really good spot-up shooter. Buddy Hield has been one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA as of the last couple of years. It's actually, I think, a statistic now that Kobe White has shot better from the three-point line this season than Buddy Hield, but we all know Buddy Hield takes a lot more three-pointers than Kobe White, so there's a little bit of balancing act there. We need a three-point shooter. Buddy Hield's been put in a lot of conversations, in my opinion, around the Chicago Bulls by a lot of Bulls fans. Bulls fans, I think, want Buddy Hield, but the problem with Buddy Hield is his contract is massive for what we would be able to attain him at. Again, in terms of financially, I'm not sure. With the way the team is constructed now, you can just get Buddy Hield for Kobe White. I don't think that would ever be the case. Kobe White, I believe, is not making a significant amount of money. He's still on his rookie contract, and he's going to be a restricted free agent next year, where Buddy Hield's making $20 million this season and will be making $28 million the season after that as well. So that's a lot of money. 2-year contract, which is not too bad. I would love to have a Buddy Hield type player on a 2-year contract, someone that we need and someone that could be here more than a year, not a 1-year rental. So that's a positive. But he is making a lot of money, and I think you're going to have to start getting other players involved in a deal for Buddy Hield in order to make the contracts work. And that's when you begin to ask the question, is it too much for Buddy Hield, a guy that's making $20 million per season at the moment? Is that a lot for Buddy Hield? I personally would say there is a good chance that that's going to be a lot for the Chicago Bulls. You're going to have to add other players in there that I don't think we'd want to get rid of. So I'm going to have to say I don't think this trade would ever happen. I don't see the Bulls really pursuing something like this. And I personally wouldn't do this as well. I wouldn't really give up a first-round pick for Buddy Hield either. It's one of those situations where I respect the player. I think the player would be highly valuable if he was on this team. But you're going to get to that stage where you're going to be offering up potential. You're offering up players that already make an impact here now that I don't think the Bulls would want to do at this point. So I'm going to have to say no in terms of Buddy Hield to the Chicago Bulls for Kobe White and a first-round pick. It's a good idea. If the salaries would have made sense, I think that's a real debate that many people would have. I just don't think the salaries make sense, and therefore I don't think this trade would really, I guess, come into fruition unless you put other people in the deal. We'll move on from that one, ladies and gentlemen. We've actually got a little bit of a joke one here as well. I personally didn't actually see this as a joke, but nevertheless, he did mention that it was a joke to me as well. And it is a little bit fitting. We're going to be trading Nikola Vucevic back to Orlando for Wendell Carter, Franz Wagner, and the Magic's 2023 first-round pick. I think it would be very, very fitting or very, I guess, interesting to see Vucevic back with Orlando and Wendell Carter back with the Bulls. I don't think that would ever happen. At the end of the day, it is a joke for a reason. I think that was the joke. Went completely over my head there, ladies and gentlemen. But in all seriousness, I will move on from this one very quickly. I don't see the Magic ever doing this. I think Franz Wagner was amazing. And Wendell Carter, I think Wendell Carter could do very well on the Chicago Bulls team, I've got to be honest. But right now, Vucevic is still the better player. So overall, probably doesn't make sense for everybody, but it's a joke at the end of the day. And I'm going to talk about one more. There wasn't too many trade scenarios recommended to me at this point in time. So again, feel free to make any sort of trade scenarios that you have. But this is not necessarily a trade scenario, but this is always a talk about Kevin Durant joining the Chicago Bulls. I think so many people have been asking, or at least I guess, what my opinion on what Kevin Durant would be on the Chicago Bulls team, what he would look like, and as well, what would have to give up. And I feel like a lot of people are making a lot of trade scenarios in terms of that. A lot of people are asking, who would you give up in terms of that? So I'll try to dive into a little bit of what I think about the Kevin Durant situation at the moment. So right now, Kevin Durant is still a Brooklyn Nets player. And the stories that we've seen that the Brooklyn Nets, some of the trades that they've turned down, I'm utterly shocked that A, a team would give some of those players away, and B, the Brooklyn Nets are turning those deals down. That's astonishing in my opinion. But we'll talk about Kevin Durant. He played 55 games for Brooklyn this season, or last season. He averaged 29.9 points per game, 7.4 rebounds, 6.4 assists, shooting 51.8% from the field, 38.3% from the three-point line. A lot of this is with a lot of heavily contested shots, being the main man on the team, guarded heavily all the time. Kevin Durant is one of the best players in the world. And he's still up there in my opinion. He's probably, for many people, the best player in the world. He has a gifted offensive mind. And the way that he's able to get his shots off at times, it's effortless and it's easy for him. He's had a very good season in terms of his own individual stats. However, his team was not really winning last year for a variety of reasons. Obviously, the whole pandemic situation, Kyrie missing a lot of the season, James Harden getting traded earlier on in the season as well. A variety of reasons. The head coach is one of them as well. They don't have a defensive structure. One of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, in my opinion, last season as well. I think they've got a lot of aging guys that probably can't really make that contribution that they would like. Variety of reasons. There's not to say that one is bigger than the other, in my opinion. But Kevin Durant himself had a great year, and he needed to have a great year to kind of get Brooklyn where they needed to go, because I don't think they were a playoff team if Kevin Durant had a bad year whatsoever. So a very interesting time for the Brooklyn Nets. I just think in terms of the Kevin Durant situation, the Bulls are always going to be in and around there. I've heard from a lot of people that we're still in the conversation for Kevin Durant. We're still one of the favorites to land Kevin Durant and stuff like that. I have a lot to get into that in terms of the situation. So I want to look at some of the previous trades that teams have offered, at least from the rumors. So I think one of them was Aidan, I think Cam Johnson, and Mikal Bridges alongside of first-round picks for Kevin Durant. In my opinion, there's not much of a better offer you can get for Kevin Durant there. And they turned that down. Again, it's just rumors, but it looks like they've turned that down. And the Suns are kind of not really intrigued or, I guess, interested in another offer. Because that's a brilliant offer, in my opinion. If you're the Brooklyn Nets and you don't take that offer, you're getting first-round picks alongside of one of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates, a guy that's a spot-up shooter that could do very nicely, and a max contract level center who got paid the max contract from the Phoenix Suns to keep him as a Phoenix Sun. In my opinion, I don't know why you turned down that deal. It gives you a lot of young variety. Again, if you want to go for a rebuild, a lot of those guys that you're trading for are young upcoming players as well, plus the first-round picks you get in return. That's an amazing offer that the Brooklyn Nets turned down. You look at some of the things that they've offered for Minnesota. Apparently, the Brooklyn Nets offered Minnesota, or wanted Minnesota to offer Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards for Kevin Durant. And I think there was some first-round picks involved in that, but I can't be certain. And there was no way the Timberwolves were going to give them that sort of deal, especially with the team that they have now. They made the right decision. And Brooklyn was asking for so much for Kevin Durant. And then you look at the Boston Celtics now. I believe they offered Marcus Smart and... No, they offered Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and 3 first-round picks, I believe. And again, I think that's a really good deal as well. You're getting an all-star caliber player. You're getting a young defensive-minded point guard. Potentially could be a shooting guard as well. You're getting first-round picks from the Boston Celtics as well. They turned that down. They're turning down all-star level players. They're turning down significant role players. They're turning down first-round picks as well. They want a massive package to get Kevin Durant. And some of the trade packages I've seen from the Chicago Bulls side of things gives them a lot of first-round picks, gives them players that I think are very valuable to us, but I think it's very clear that most deals that we offer won't land Kevin Durant. I've heard Lonzo Ball, I've heard Patrick Williams, and I've heard about 5 first-round picks for Kevin Durant. I don't think that gets the job done, considering the things that they're offering and considering some of the things that they've turned down. I don't think that gets the job done. I think any trade scenario that you put Kevin Durant in will have to involve either Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan. Simple as that. If you don't get one of those players in the deal, you're not getting Kevin Durant. And unfortunately, I don't see why we would give up any of those players for Kevin Durant at the moment, who at any given time could request another trade. And I don't know if I trust that. At least with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine's committed his entire future to the Chicago Bulls. And I think he's more of a better option to go with for now at 27 years old. Kevin Durant's still an amazing player, one of the best in the world. It is a very interesting thing to see what Kevin Durant would look like on this team. I wouldn't necessarily give up Zach LaVine for Kevin Durant. DeMar DeRozan is a different conversation because obviously he's on a shorter term deal. They're both very similar in terms of their age as well. But DeMar had a great season as well. So there is a conversation to be had there. One of them's going to have to go alongside of a lot of first-round picks and probably a Patrick Williams or Alonzo Ball as well. Or even Alex Caruso. Do you really want to do that type of deal? Got a lot of the roster that we have for Kevin Durant. Many people will say yes. Many people will say no. But all things considered, there is no guarantee that they would accept an offer like that either. You got to look at all these things. I think Bulls fans are really overvaluing some of the players that we have. Patrick Williams and Lonzo Ball alongside first-round picks will not be enough to get Kevin Durant. It just won't. And I've also heard that, again, I don't even think DeMar DeRozan is enough to get Kevin Durant. So that's my personal opinion. If it ends up happening and I'm wrong, that's great. At the end of the day, if Lonzo Ball and Patrick Williams is enough to land Kevin Durant, even if you get rid of Vucevic as well, fair enough. We could get Kevin Durant, and I'd like every single minute of that. But right now, I just think we need to wait, and I think most teams are going to wait and make Brooklyn lower their standard of trade, because I don't see... Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe tomorrow Kevin Durant gets traded. But right now, with what they want, I just don't see any team really offering anything huge for Kevin Durant. And I just think Brooklyn's demands are so high that teams are kind of waiting for them to lower their value. And I think that's the right thing to do. And I think the Bulls should be doing that as well. I don't think the Bulls should gut our roster and give everybody for Kevin Durant right now. If every other team is waiting around that situation, the Bulls should be doing the same. Am I saying we should not go after Kevin Durant? That's not what I'm saying at all. But right now, I think they're asking for so much, and I don't think it's worth what they're asking for a lot of teams, including ourselves. So let's wait and see if he's still there at the regular season. Let's wait and see if he's there at the trade deadline. Let's see if he ends up making a lot of a fuss to the point where Brooklyn are forced to trade him. He said he's requested a trade. If he doesn't play for Brooklyn this season, I think that's very, very interesting. And I think that will force Brooklyn to trade him for a lower value, for a lower price, for lower demands, stuff like that. And then maybe the Bulls could get their hands on Kevin Durant in that way. But right now, I don't see the Bulls getting Kevin Durant. And right now, I don't see Kevin Durant even wanting to come to the Bulls. Another thing, he never actually mentioned us as a team that he wanted to go to. I think that's a red flag straight away. But also, again, if you get Kevin Durant, I think most people would say, look, it's Kevin Durant. Doesn't matter where he wants to play. He's here now, and he would probably still play for us. I think he respects us enough to play for us if he was traded here. So a lot of interesting conversations there, but I thought I'd give my 2 cents on the situation. At the end of the day, there's not much to talk about, and people are still asking about Kevin Durant. So we'll wait and see what the outcome will be in that situation. I've said in my statements, I think it's very unlikely that we go after Kevin Durant or that we get Kevin Durant. I think we'll try to go after him. I don't think we'll get Kevin Durant. I don't think we're the favorites. I don't think we have enough to offer. And the people that we do have to offer alongside the first round picks that we have, I'm not sure if that's enough, and I'm not sure we'll even be willing to do that. So a lot lot of variables there. We'll wait and see if everything aligns. And if we get Kevin Durant, we get Kevin Durant and we move on with the team that we have. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll be sure to make more of these if you leave your suggestions in the comments below. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and